James Conner is a questionable spot. But James Conner, he tends to do well. He's just not able to finish seasons at this juncture. But I do think they'll be over eight and a half for sure.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Top Shelf Tuesday edition, we will preview the NFC West division in advance of the 2025 NFL football season. Fans, the Odd Coaches Podcast is entering its fifth season of covering the National Football League, so we've got the heavy hitters with us today to analyze the NFC West. Captain for life, Will Cotton, and making his second journey with us. And hopefully you can see him all season. Former Division I offensive lineman, D. Jamal Kirby. Kirby, always good to see you. So let's jump into it. Segment 1, we will give you an overview of each team. Segment 2, we will give you a driving question for each team because we're educators. And in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. So let's get started. Will, Arizona Cardinals, over-under is 8.5. Quite frankly, they weren't my favorite team, and I made a lot of fun of their quarterback situation and their previous coordinator. Will, am I too hard on Arizona? Because I might end up taking the over on them. What do you think?
Be careful. Even though San Francisco got worse and Seattle got much worse as well. They have offensive, defensive side of the ball. They got a lot of continuity, and they've been melding together in the last couple years, which is going to be crucial because in the past seasons we've seen the Cardinals win a lot of tough late games from really good opponents. So it's really things. But again, the continuity means you have to win consistently. So that's one of the things that they struggle with. And for them to win the playoff or make to the playoffs, they're going to have to win at home against a tough Rams game. The Bengals on the road, who are going to be lighting it up on the offensive line of the ball. Cowboys, who still have talent, so people don't have to sleep on them. They can upset anytime of the week, and that's the only way it really happens based on their schedule. So for me, based on what I saw and all the things that need to happen, I think they're going to hit the unders.
All right, Kirby, they're supposed to have a better wide receiver crew. Marvin Harrison Jr. is supposed to be the next coming of Jerry Rice. What are you thinking about the Cardinals, man? Over under 8.5.
I mean, I think I picked the over. Jonathan Gannon, he's entering his third year in the program. Didn't do so well the first year. Last year, I think they almost scraped 500 in the draft. This year, they went 6 of 7 defensive players to shore up that defense. They got Josh Sweat coming over from the Eagles. And his peak years, he played with Jonathan Gannon while he was the Philadelphia coordinator. So he's expected to say, "Hey, look, I'm about to turn up in AZ like how I was turning up back in 2021." Looking at Kyler Murray, he played all the games last year. He didn't miss any games last year. And in the prior year, he missed 8. So I think he's going to come of age this year.
I'm sure he did play all of the games.
Yeah, and he has a receiver to throw to. Marvin Harrison looked like he done took a little bit of something to get a little bit stronger. Nothing illegal, of course. James Conner is a questionable spot. But James Conner, he tends to do well. He's just not able to finish seasons at this juncture. But I do think they'll be over eight and a half for sure.
All right. Will, the Los Angeles Rams, over under 9.5. Matthew Stafford is 37, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not getting younger, and neither is his wide receiver crew because they got Davante Adams on board. What do you think? Over under 9.5 for the LA Rams.
I really liked that team down the stretch last year. I thought they were a really, really tough, gritty team, winning a really fun games. Off the defense could have gotten a little better. They gave up a lot of points on every time, and eventually, when they played the Eagles, they gave up all the points, which means they couldn't stop nobody, much less the run. You still have an older quarterback. You have an older Davante Adams, and to be honest, last year he looked very pedestrian, injured. When he was on the field, he was, good, but it wasn't Davante Adams that we know of. I think he had one big game where he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns. Other than that, everything was really under the radar. Nothing that you were like, oh man, this guy's back. So with that said, based on the schedule, I think they both hit the under as well, slightly with 9 wins.
All right, Kirby, that dude's old. Matthew Stafford's old. The boy genius who's a coach is no longer a boy. He's not the man genius. They keep telling me that the Rams are one of the better teams. Over under 9.5. What do you think, sir?
I'm gonna pick the over. We're talking about a team that's coached by Sean McVay. He's a vet in the league, and he's known to make sure the offensive train keeps chugging.
Didn't he
Um,
win once?
yeah, he won once,
Once.
and it was convincing. And he's had good records. I mean, I think this year they're gonna have to start a little faster than they did last year. They went 1-4 to start the season. They assured up the offense with resign. I guess getting Puka in there, getting rid of the other guy, and Davante Adams is supposed to anchor some of that down. I mean, we're not going to get the Matt Stafford that threw 40 touchdowns. He's at year 16. As long as he stays healthy and he's able to operate how he's been operating, I think they have a chance. We have to remember they lost to the Eagles in the playoffs in that snow game. If it wasn't snowing, I think that would have been a tougher game.
The
Some of the
sun was in my eye. I
yeah,
had the
some
flu. I slipped on a banana peel.
yeah,
Paulie
yeah,
was the
excuses.
ninja.
Yeah,
He didn't
excuses.
move. It was snowing. Oh, come on. Okay.
I mean,
Just
some of the
smiling.
yeah, some of the issues they're gonna have is defense. I mean, their defense is ranked 26. And they were 17th in points given up per game. So they really have to figure something out on defense. But I mean, their offense is hard to keep up with.
All right. Will, you have not heard that rant in quite some time, sir. All right. San Francisco 49ers. Shout out to Fowler and Campbell. And what is the over under on Shaq being on the show this year with the 49ers? That's an inside joke. The over under is 10.5. Their schedule is, I think, the easiest in the league. And they paid Brock Purdy. So they paid the seventh round draft pick, first round money. What do we get out of 49ers?
Man, it's crazy because, I think they're heading into a transition. I thought they're getting ready. If this is like one of the last couple years of this iteration of the Niners that we've seen, I think this is going to be done in a couple of years. A lot of top players are gone. CMC is still a question mark. I don't think they've even seen Brandon Ayuk play yet, based on the injury he had last year, you know. The defense, a little older, and they swapped out some other guys, so they got a little better with that. But just looking at the schedule, and again, division wise, it's still tough. Um, Man, I'm gonna have to take the under on this, man. I don't know if they're gonna get 10.5 wins. That's a tough talent, and I think all other I would say two of the three other teams at NFC West, not the Seahawks, are really tough teams. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they got it, and I don't think they have while they still have Kittle, they're missing a lot of extra pieces, especially if CMC goes down again, then they're looking very pedestrian. So give me the under. It's not gonna be abysmal. But give me the under.
All right, Kirby. They have a lot of talent on defense that's been swapped out. They're counting on some young players. Cannot forget Nick Bosa's there. What are you thinking about San Francisco over under 10.5 with that very
So
daunting schedule that they have?
yeah, so I'm gonna pick the under. I mean, I look at their draft strategy; it was all over the place. They had six. I mean, well, it's a balanced approach. They had six defensive players, five offensive. The first the first five picks in their draft are defensive end, D tackle, linebacker, cornerback, D tackle. So we know they're trying to shore up that defense. I know we're gonna get into this a little bit later, but Brock Purdy isn't it. He's not the guy. Um, uh, I don't think Kittle's the amount they're gonna have to put on Kittle's shoulders. He's not gonna be able to carry it. Debo's gone. That's a big void to fill. CMC, he can't stay healthy. Um, what's the receiver's name? I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk. He was on my fantasy team, and I had high hopes for him last year.
I
And
heard.
uh, and
Little
and, I,
Mike
and I'm
King Petty there, Will.
yeah. Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm not. Yeah, I got it's personal. It's a V for Vendetta. So, we'll see how it goes this year. But I'm gonna pick the under on this one. But I think they are a strong organization and they will climb back quickly. But this year is a no for them.
All right. And finally, Cotton Man, Seattle Seahawks over under 7.5. And I've got one name for you, Sam Darnold. What do you think? Over and under 7.5, Seattle.
if you've been listening to this podcast for the last couple of years, you know me. And if you follow, if Kirby, if you look at our group chat, Sam Darnold is not who he thinks he are, and we let him off the hook. You know what I'm saying? No more DK, no more Lockett, a new quarterback who doesn't play with Justin Jefferson. So I just think it'll be too much for them to win. So give me the under regardless. And it's just it'll be a tough season, a tough schedule for them anyway. So give me the under.
All right, Kirby, what are you thinking about Seattle? Is
Uh,
Sam Darnold the one?
I I don't think Sam Darnold is the one. I think they're going to have to rely on Cooper Cup. They're going to have to rely on their defense with DeMarcus Lawrence. They have that running back that's pretty good, but they had that departure with Geno Smith, which we're not really happy about. So I don't think the swap is something that's great. I mean, they did good by drafting a quarterback from Alabama, I believe, and I think at some
Sure.
point he's gonna play a part in this team.
All right, so fans, in segment two, we will have a driving question for each of the teams as we get you ready for the NFC West. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student athlete success. I believe every student athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. In segment two, we're going to get you with the driving questions. First and foremost, Will, Arizona. Are the Cardinals underrated? Because, yeah, I told you, I make fun of them, but man, they might be pretty good this year. What do you think?
I think they are underrated, but the worst part is about it, I think other opponents think they're underrated as well. I mean, how many times have we seen a team that clearly should go into or have Arizona come visit, easily beat them, and then
Yes.
you turn off the TV, and then all of a sudden you turn it back and it's 38-38. You know what I'm
Strictly for
saying?
entertainment purposes
Right.
only.
All
I
of a
got
sudden,
beat a couple of times last year.
you're getting alerts from fantasy football, touchdown, so touchdown, 12 down. You're like, let me turn back to this game, man. What's going on? And then you see the Bama's tied up. This team is tough, man. These dudes make opportunity of interceptions and turnovers, and they score quickly, and they have a dynamic quarterback, man. It's just we just need them to keep Kyler Murray healthy. Now, it's a long season. So if you're underrated for 8 games and you're 5-3 or 6-2, you become no longer underrated. So we'll see if they can sustain that without being the underdog. The second iteration of the season. I'm loving the word iteration. The second part of that of the season, if they can get into that and really catch, and I think that's where their relationship will really buy into them being a good team moving forward. I think that'll happen. But it takes it, but it doesn't matter as long Kyler Murray has to stay healthy.
All right. Kirby, as you have heard on the show, I picked against Arizona a few times last year, strictly for entertainment purposes only, similar to your fantasy. And I didn't go to the pay window, as the late great Gorilla Monsoon would say. Are the Cardinals underrated, sir?
I actually feel as though they're rated right where they need to be. Just like Kyler Murray, he's ranked number 18 in terms of quarterback between Tua and Trevor Lawrence, and that's like a perfect. That's like right where the Cardinals are. They're a team that sometimes it's good, sometimes it's hurt, sometimes they can make the big play. Sometimes they're making plays down the stretch. They're gonna have to really lean in on their defense, which is why they went with the draft strategy of having drafting six defensive players out of seven players. You got Jonathan Gannon. He's like I said earlier, he's coming in his third year of coaching of his 5 year contract. He's going to have to make a big splash this year. I think they're rated right where they need to be. They're kind of a sleeper team that you don't really know what they're going to do this year until it happens. We're really expecting big things out of Marvin Harrison, but he needs somebody to throw in the ball. So Kyler Murray, as Cotton had said, needs to be healthy. So we'll see.
I wonder if that midget thing is a big deal. I got to get to franchised on the group chat with that. All right, Los Angeles Rams. Well, are the Los Angeles Rams overrated because this boy, the guy's got one Super Bowl? All right, Pete Carroll's got one Super Bowl. There's a bunch of guys that won Super Bowl, but I got to hear every week about how smart this guy is, but you ain't winning no games. So tell me, are they overrated or is this just coach being mad?
I mean, I don't know if I'd call them overrated. I remember last year, everyone really said the Rams were going to make a really big splash in the season last year. So if they're picking it again, I can see them saying, "Man, this team is really looking like the same team for the most part, from the skill set, from the offensive line. They should, I believe they really addressed the defensive line of defensive side of the ball in the draft. I hope they did. At least they did. But I think they're a team, man. That they're old, but not too old. They have experience. They have a great coach. Um, I wouldn't call them overrated just yet. I think they're like Curb said in the previous. I think they're right where they are, and they have the potential to really make a splash down the season if they can really get some nice run. If they get nice runs toward the end of the regular season, we can easily see the same thing that we saw them last year, where they can end up deep in the playoffs. So I don't believe they're overrated. They're rated right where they're at.
All right, Kirby, are the Rams overrated? Because I keep hearing about them, and they took that big L last year. So talk to.
I actually think they're underrated. I mean, like I said before, they were in that playoff game with the Eagles, and they were neck with neck with one of the best teams that came through last year. They have a running back that has over 1,000 yards. I'm interested to see what happens with that third round pick, Blake Corum. Everybody was so interested. Everybody was picking him up on their fantasy teams, and so I'm interested to see what happens with him. I mean, they still got Puka, they got Davante Adams. They still have the quarterback in Stafford, and Stafford's known to drop some numbers. Offensively, they're probably underrated. Defensively, yeesh. But in terms of the team overall, I think they're underrated just based on their performance last year and what they've done so far what they've done so far in the offseason this year.
All right, Will, in our sidebar conversations, Following believes this guy's pretty good. Is Brock Purdy the man? They paid him. You've got your money. Now, can he give them the results they want with that easy schedule on paper?
I mean, I think I think we were talking about. I think he's right in the middle of the road. I don't think he's anybody great. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's right around there. I would say he's right around Trevor Lawrence, slightly a little better. Um, but now he's been paid. Okay, we've took away a couple weapons where Debo's no longer here. We got question marks on CMC. Ayuk, we haven't been seen yet. Kittle, we're putting a lot of effort into him, and like Herb said, I don't know if he's willing to take that luggage or take that, that burden on his back to win, because again, he plays a very physical game. I don't know if Kittle can sustain that for 17 games. Um, so I'm gonna have to say, man, like if it was me, I'd have let him go. He's not special enough for me to pay him how much they paid him. And if they didn't, there are a lot of people who would have agreed to him that. There was a lot of people like it's not like you didn't pay Aaron Rodgers. And like you ain't pay like, you know what I'm saying, like Lamar or Josh Allen. Like you didn't pay Brock Purdy. And anybody been like, hey man, I feel you. Like you met a lot of people who be like, I feel you ain't pay that by me either. 300 a million? Yeah, I wouldn't have paid Obama either. There was a lot of conservative people who were like, "No, you have to pay him. You have to pay him. You need a quarterback. You need a quarterback." I think, to me, he's not the man. He's not a guy I would get $300 million. He's not a guy that is even a person that you can that guy can walk around the street, you will not know him. If he walked around in DC, he would have no problem walking around. If he was wearing like a Lands ending, you know what I'm saying, like a little regular jacket, starter jacket, whatever, you would never know he was. So I think they messed around giving him money, and I think he's not the man. Sorry.
All right. Kirby, as one of the anchors of a championship winning offensive line, Brock Purdy's got his money. How are you looking at him in terms of getting ready for the season? Is this the guy to take San Francisco to the next level?
Brock Purdy is the man by default. I'll start by saying this. We love the story. He's Mr. Irrelevant, turned Super Bowl appearance in 2023. Congratulate that man for what he's done in his career, but he's not that guy. I mean, you have to understand, you have to look at it. He lost Debo. Brandon Ayuk, his knee is gone. He'll probably be back in some capacity sometime this year. As Cotton alluded to, George Kittle's not going to be able to hold the burden of the team. Christian McCaffrey, he can't hold the burden. So it's going to literally be on Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the NFL drafts back in order for him to perform at a high level. Trent Williams anchoring the left side of that offensive line. He's 37 years old. That guy he came to San Francisco to win a championship. A lot of these players were in that championship mindset on the 49ers. Now they're like, man, we're in a rebuilding phase. We're rebuilding behind Brock Purdy. They never were able to get us the quarterback that we needed. They had Garoppolo and some other guys. Brock Purdy ended up somehow being the cream that rose to the top for some reason. And that's the team that we're looking at right now. There's the core superstars of their team were on a championship ride with Brock Purdy. Now a lot of those guys have left. A lot of those guys are injured. A lot of the guys are years older. And now they're having to depend on Brock Purdy, who was not the man. Man, it's scary. It's scary hours over there.
Okay. Finally, Will, who's the real Sam Darnold? The guy we saw the first 15 games or the dude we saw at the end of the season? Who's the real Sam Darnold?
My arch enemy, Sam Darnold, the man I've been watching since USC. Well, I'll say this: Justin Jefferson hides a lot of flaws, and when you throw the ball 30% of the time to Justin Jefferson, you can no longer do anymore. I just don't think he'll be able to make it up. Again, that's why like people understand like when you're a player like that, like Justin Jefferson, like he removes a lot of flaws from regular guys. He made Kirk Cousins look really, really good. He made Sam Darnold a lot of money. But at the end of the day, Sam Darnold is going right back to turning into a pumpkin, back into a stepchild. He back here are you going to the ball? No, you ain't going to the ball. Go ahead and join the sweep in the corner. So the best thing about it is he got paid. I love when people get paid, but is he real? Nah, back to a pumpkin.
Horn doesn't look as good when the L train's running it.
No,
Okay.
he was grinding. He was grinding last season because he wanted that contract. But like you said, coach, he been on the steak dinners. He been on the lobster dinners. He been going to pastas. He been drinking beers,
A lot
tequila.
of attaboys, a lot of attaboys. All right, Kirby. We saw the entire season, the first 14 games, and I swear, fans who listen to the show, every week we do best, worst, and most surprising. And like 8 weeks in a row, Sam Darnold was the most surprising thing we talked about. Is that the real Sam Darnold or that dude that threw like 4 interceptions at the end of the season? Which guy do we have, sir?
So the real Sam Darnold, the starting quarterback, he's 6'2", weighs 216 pounds, running a 4.4. And I'm not talking about Sam Darnold. I'm talking about Jalen Milroe. He is the starting quarterback. Sam Darnold is not that guy. He's not going to be the guy that's going to take the franchise to the next level. He's not going to be the guy that's going to be throwing the ball for the rest of this year. Mike Macdonald, the new coach, he already chatted up that he's getting Milroe reps in the game for small packages. We already know how that happens. And if you know Mike Macdonald, he's from the Shanahan tree, so he likes that RPO, fast-paced offense. fake to the running back, run to the side, throw to the receiver, things like that. And I think that they're setting it up for Sam Darnold to be a buffer for our guy Jalen Monroe. And the Alabama's quarterbacks have been having success in the NFL, man. And the NFL ain't nothing but a
They have.
copycat. Yeah, the NFL ain't nothing but a copycat league, and they like seeing people win. And when they see something that's working, oh man, they're jumping on it. And that's why Jalen Monroe got drafted, and that's why Sam Darnold got brought in as a buffer. Whoever the GM, man, they were a magician with this. They got the quarterback. They got two quarterbacks. One that's not very good, but good enough to be a holding quarterback. And then they drafted a quarterback that can be the quarterback of the future for the coach that's going to be the coach of the future. So shout out to that GM. I'm not sure what his name is, Clint Kubik or something of that nature.
All right. I think the fans in Carolina and Miami may disagree on your Alabama quarterback reference, but when we get to segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the Out Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast. And in segment 3, let's talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Will, who is the predicted division champ of the NFC West?
Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Kirby, who is the predicted division champion for the NFC West?
Gotta live and die in LA, Los Angeles Rams for sure.
Oh my goodness. Fowler and your boys sold you out. All right. Who's the sleeper pick, Cotton?
Cardinals.
Cardinals, okay. Yeah. Kirby, who's the sleeper pick?
Yeah, I gotta go easy as well. Arizona.
Okay. Playoff teams. Does the NFC West get 2, Will?
Oh yeah. The Rams, the Cardinals.
Rams and the Cardinals, no 49ers with that weak schedule?
Nah.
They're playing no one all year. All right, Kirby, how many teams does the NFC West get in the postseason?
I'll just say one, just LA Rams.
Do you know the NFC South is still playing football games? just so you'll think about it. I'm going to go with 2, San Francisco and the Rams, because the NFC South is still playing. They play no one. They've got the easiest schedule in the history of the NFL. San Francisco has to win. They play nobody. Okay. They play that 5-game MEAC schedule. All right. Will there be a big game participant from the NFC West?
No way.
No way. Kirby, will we get a big game participant from the NFC West?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Hey, follow it. We're going to go. San Francisco's going to make it to the conference championship because they play no one, and everyone else will disappoint. Again, All right, that is fine. So, on behalf of our Cavalcade of Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and/or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.